What's up, guys? This video is largely a follow-up to the last one I uploaded, so I'd recommend watching that first if you haven't seen it yet. In that video, I asked for your input on whether or not I should continue development on the XEB Plus Neutrino Launcher plugin, seeing as there's now a version of OPL that I considered to be better. Well, you guys responded, and in far greater numbers than I anticipated, and the overwhelming consensus was that yes, I should continue working on Neutrino Launcher, so that's exactly what I'll be doing. I was a bit surprised by the reasons some of you all gave for wanting me to continue. A lot of people mentioned how their reason for using my plugin wasn't due to any of the back-end technical stuff I've been working on, but rather just an overwhelming preference for the XMB style interface. I've always had the mindset of prioritizing functionality first and foremost, and thought that having a pretty interface was just a nice bonus. I went with XEB Plus for my plugin mostly out of convenience, but apparently the interface it provides is the killer feature for a lot of you. In hindsight, that really shouldn't have come as a surprise, because I can totally relate. To this day, I still have not forgiven Microsoft for the Xbox 360 Metro dashboard, or Mozilla for everything they've done to the Firefox UI since version 4. Getting back on topic, some of you brought up practical advantages to XEB Plus that I hadn't fully considered. Things like how easy it is to translate the interface to other languages, or how the layout is more approachable to casual users and children. On top of that, apparently UOPL has all sorts of issues that I just haven't encountered for whatever reason. Things like hard drives not being detected, games not loading, and other miscellaneous issues that keep being reported by people who try to use it. And the developer behind UOPL has apparently stepped away from the project, at least for the time being. So yeah, even though UOPL has been amazing for me, it seems I just got incredibly lucky and this isn't actually the universal backup loader solution I thought it was. With that context established, it's time to get into the latest Neutrino Launcher update. And this one is significant, because it's the last major update I intend to release before I begin migrating everything over to XMB Pro. I have no plans to add any new features to the standalone version of this plugin going forward, and the only updates I might release are bug fixes and changes to the VMC group list. Now, the first change I've made isn't actually to Neutrino Launcher itself, but rather the XEB Plus plugin manager that released a few months ago. Previously, it couldn't read any information about the Neutrino Launcher due to the way my plugin files are formatted, but I've gone in and fixed that, and made the code a bit smaller in the process. The updated version of the plugin manager can be found over on the XEB Plus Discord. As for the Neutrino Launcher, there are two big changes I've made this time around. The first is that I've gone and updated the Neutrino backend to the latest development version. Now, this was not something I was originally planning to do, and I've stated before that my plugin is designed around the stable release of Neutrino. This is meant to prevent issues that could arise from an untested development build, as well as limit the number of updates I have to release to support new versions. However, the current development build has been out for over a month at this point, with no immediate signs of either it or the stable build getting a new release. On top of that, every other Neutrino-based project I'm aware of has already switched over to this build, including the XMB Pro theme that I intend to migrate development over to. This updated backend makes changes to the launch arguments Neutrino can take, which in turn necessitates changes to the plugin menu. In my last update, I changed the accurate reads flag to be on by default for better compatibility. That change was canonized in this build of Neutrino, where the accurate reads flag has been replaced by fast reads, thereby making accurate reads the default. Any games that didn't use accurate reads in the previous release should work fine with fast reads enabled, which will speed up load times if you're using a hard drive or UDPBD server. I've also updated the Neutrino Launcher compatibility list to reflect this change. The accurate reads column has been changed to fast reads, and all the check marks in it have been inverted. There's also a brand new compatibility flag, Fix Buffer Overrun. There are a small handful of PS2 titles that use a library which exceeds its allocated memory buffer by several kilobytes. This can lead to issues when running these games under Neutrino. The new compatibility flag is designed to address this. As an aside, one of the games that's apparently affected by this issue is called Donkey Zote. I'm pretty sure this is meant to be pronounced Don Quixote, but come on, it says Donkey Zote. The next change I've made to the plugin is the ability to disable disk and background artwork independently of one another. So now you can choose to display only disk icons, or only backgrounds, or both. Finally, I've added an iLink loader to the plugin. Unfortunately, I don't know if it actually works. I don't have a FireWire drive to test it myself, so I added the iLink loader to the testing branch over on GitHub and messaged the one guy in my comments who keeps requesting iLink support to go and test it. That was about a week ago, and I haven't heard back, so hopefully it functions properly. If it doesn't though, fixing it should just be a matter of tweaking a couple variables. This is also the one loader that's disabled by default. You have to go into the settings and set Show iLink, then reboot the system before it'll appear on the menu. I've also added an iLink option to the list builder, and the setup process should be the same as it is for MX4 SIO and hard drives. That's everything new for this update, and like I said before, this is the last major update I plan to release for the standalone Neutrino Launcher plugin. After this video goes up, I'm going to begin work on migrating all of my plugins features over to the Neutrino Launcher implementation found in the XMB Pro theme. As I discussed in my last video, XMB Pro is less a theme and more a full-on enhancement for XEB+. It makes a bunch of changes to the user interface and includes things like a memory card manager and pops loader for PS1 games in addition to the Neutrino Launcher. I have a bunch of reasons for wanting to merge my plugin with XMB Pro, but one big advantage I did not specifically call out last time is that because this is a system-wide enhancement, any improvements I make to things like navigation controls or pop-up menus can be applied to the entire XEB Plus interface. That should make the whole user interface more consistent, and my hope is that when I'm done, this one add-on will be the only thing most people need to install on top of XEB Plus. The XMB Pro migration will likely take a fair amount of work, so it could be up to a couple months before I have something that's ready for release. If you want to see when I do release something, subscribe to this channel, and you can join these people in becoming a channel member if you want to support ongoing development of this project. I think that's all I have for now, and I will see you guys later.